Margaret Kuhlman of Soul Astrology. This new moon chart shows all the personal planets in Virgo, that is Mercury, Mars and Venus, as well as the Sun and Moon, and they're fairly close together. All of them are in that group of degrees which is before the 14 degrees of Saturn in Capricorn, and the Sun and Moon and Mars are in a very close orb to trining Uranus. So during this month, all these planets will be trining Saturn, South Node and Pluto. They're all in Earth, so it's about practical things, the practical details of our life, how we organise ourselves, and that includes the body's health, the body being an organisation of material. So it could bring a focus on whatever regime we have for staying healthy and well and happy. And with the connection to Saturn, it's suggesting that any efforts we make towards such a regime will be well rewarded. The trine connection to Uranus is suggesting that it may be something that we have thought about before but not done. And then suddenly we make the move. Suddenly we commit ourselves. Saturn being about commitment, and that commitment is repeated through the month. The other connection that these planets will be making through the month is that opposition to Neptune in Pisces, which brings to mind how Virgo is so essential as the balance to the merging, blurring, openness of Pisces. On a spiritual level we know that all is one, it's all spirit, but on the everyday level of action and living, we're dealing with the parts and how they move together. The well-oiled machine comes to mind, where every part has its function and moves at the right time. A grand trine is like that, encouraging that kind of activity. And it's the purpose, the functioning, and on an emotional level perhaps the boundaries that make Neptune in Pisces safe for us on a daily level. The blend of Virgo and Pisces is a routine of meditation. And this month is focusing on getting those routines in place. It's a very beautiful pattern, all linking together, and yet there is Jupiter at right angles to both ends, the point of a T-square, most beautiful and strong in his own sign of Sagittarius, right in the middle, and moving forwards again after his retrograde 4 months. For the next 3 months, he will be speeding up through his own sign to finish it off. So we're likely to feel a huge pressure from our attitudes to life as a whole and what's going on in the world. Sagittarius is the bigger picture, the principles of it all, other countries, and what's happening everywhere, rather than in our own personal lives. So its connection to both ends, the Virgo and the Pisces, all these personal planets making connection to it, is bringing world events into our personal lives in a way that we don't know how to handle, how to react, what to do, which makes it very clear why it's so important that we have a sense of inner calm, inner clarity, to come back to the centre, to be rooted where our feet stand, and not to be wafted off into other places, but at the same time to remember that as a piece of humanity we are connected. The solution could be to bring forward the service aspect of Virgo rather than the critical side. The criticism only comes because Virgo has this sense of how things could be at their best, working like that smoothly moving oiled machine. But we know life's not like that. and criticizing it for not being like that is missing the point of life. So when we feel that something's wrong or everything's wrong or that we're not doing it right or whatever it is, when that criticism seems to be there, rather than giving it any energy, see if there is something that you can do to lift the situation. Sometimes it's simply accepting the way a situation is. Sort of, this. Okay, now what? While the planets are moving through Virgo, trining Saturn and the South Node squaring Jupiter, opposing Neptune, they will also be sextiling the North Node. So something about this inner tussle between that allness connection and the individual caring for oneself is leading us towards caring for all of humanity. I would like to recommend you listen to Kaipacha if you haven't already. He speaks from the group called New Paradigm Astrology. At the full moon on the 14th of September, this tug of war between the two ends, the Virgo and the Pisces, is absolutely emphasized. The squares to Jupiter even stronger. The moon is on the side of Neptune, so emotional issues are very likely to have risen. And again, we need to deal with them with the gentleness, the kindness that Virgo has in its desire to help. We need to be gentle. Virgo is concerned with making the world a better place for everyone. Generally, it's not considering itself in that, but just it's a part of us all. So what will serve others naturally serves itself. Mars at that time is coming up to complete the trine to Pluto. The others have moved past that trine. So the energy of potential transformation is huge. And the double square from Jupiter, bringing that bigger picture into our personal lives, is actually quincunx, the North Node. The quincunx being, as I see it, a line of service. That things don't work unless you help others, and that helping others helps you naturally. So this full moon chart is making it absolutely clear that helping ourselves first is not going to work. We have to involve those around us. We have to consider the needs of others. And because we are part of the whole, we don't have to go out there and make the difference in another country. If we act in the way of service in our own lives and with the people we know, it ripples out. It changes the hologram of the human being, each in our own individual way. So this whole month is about getting ourselves in good shape so that we can help others through these extremely testing times. Sorting out our own relationship with anxiety by being connected to the spiritual dimension so that we can allay the anxiety of others, not so that we can just carry on as normal, but so that we can move forward and do what's useful, what works, putting our energy into that rather than wasting it through fear. Once more, I would recommend that you watch the Kaipacha video. Accept what is true, not knowing what that may be. Surrender your dreams to the surrounding facts. Stay open to what arrives, being prepared to adjust, but never lose your core integrity. Let inner depths sustain as you spread your heart wings in the blue, being there for the people, where joy is in this moment of truth.